Hey, welcome to my podcast. With this one here, we're going to talk about the Christian Guitarist Workshop. And the year was 1999. Y2K was fast approaching. What would happen to our computers? Would we lose our Yahoo groups? Now, this was before Facebook, X, Instagram, Twitter, etc. So we had to communicate through these things called Yahoo groups. Mainly, we were all on this Keaggy 1 group. We would share like who was going to what shows, what new music was coming out. With that, and along with the subscription to the PKC Club, we were able to keep well informed. So about this time, several of us were transpiring back and forth over the Yahoo group, and we decided to make a CD called Inspired that we would each do a couple songs on, get it together, do the cover, do all that stuff, and we somehow would get it presented to Phil. And I had the opportunity to do this at this Christian Guitarist Workshop. It was quite thrilling. So on December 4th, 1999, it was at the Dixon Vally Camp up in Illinois. I flew up there, and several of us from the list met in Illinois to attend it. Well, of course, it was Randy Stonehill and Phil Keaggy. It was a blast. What follows next here is a lot of laughs, songs, stories, some amazing guitar work from Phil. Now, this was before digital recorders. The sound quality isn't the best. It was recorded on a Radio Shack mini cassette. The tape sat in a box until now, until I transferred them over. What follows is what happened at the Christian Guitarist Workshop, sponsored by Reggie Coates.
You know what? I'm just going to let you go ahead and... I think he's coming. I'm delighted to have you here, and I'm just going to hand it over to you guys.
Thank you, Reggie.
All right.
You ever know what you're thinking? Man, they just keep getting better looking with age.
Fit to us in Christian love. That's so fun.
Now, you know, we've truth be told, we started out as child prodigies. As two, he was young, 26 now. And, you know, or looking at it this way, to the Lord, a day is as 1,000 years, and then 1,000 years is... This is just kind of sad, isn't it? Okay, I'm just going to simmer right now and get to be with you. But it really is it's a privilege and a pleasure to be with you. It's always a privilege and a pleasure to be with this man, one of my dear friends and someone who I admire both spiritually and artistically. Yeah. Well, you made my day.
Man of many do's.
Man of many do's. As a matter of fact, we met.
July 71.
You know the month too?
I do.
What was he wearing? And who what?
He was wearing patches in his jeans.
Jesus Christ, our t-shirt.
Wearing a hat. I was using the real stuff then. I was wearing the real stuff then.
Yeah, it was in Cincinnati. And
were you there? How do you know you?
Yeah, you look familiar.
Yeah, Gary and Linda. Where's Linda?
Well, Linda's not a guitar player.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you never changed. It was 30 years ago almost, and you're like, well, Gary, 25, 30 years ago.
So you either must be living right, or there's a spooky looking painting that's aging in an attic. I don't know. You can't be the judge. I know. Anyway, we thought we would... Can you see, and now you can see what, well, let me say this. I'm enjoying my 30th year here in music ministry, and I bet, is this your 30th too? Or
Yep, 70. 70, that would be going on 30 years.
Yeah, right. And so here you have it, proof positive of, 30 years of serious jet lag and really bad airport coffee. And they say there's no God, or he has sustained us even yet. Okay, but so...
You could go that way if you need a job. I'm impressed. What happened?
So we just thought, given the kind of casual, informal atmosphere here, that what we want to do is sort of articulate the marriage of faith and artistry, and so we thought it would be cool to just take you down memory lane a little bit and talk about, just a little bit about our personal lives and how God brought us to the crossroads, and then how that began to affect our music. Do you want to go ahead first?
I don't know if I've ever heard the detailed scenario of your scenario.
Okay.
I love that word. I can do a praise dance while you... That's overkill.
No, it's as simple as that. 1961, I started playing guitar and did all the things teenage guitar players do, like eat, sleep with your guitar, and the whole works, and bands, high school, I-Town Vets, Mickey's Bar, JB's, all these places, proms, gazebo rooms, and met the Lord in 1970. At the time, I was in a group called Glass Harp, and I began to just write differently, write songs from a spiritual perspective, wanted to share the good news and the gospel through the opportunities I had with Glass Harp to, sing of Christ. And it was a little tough on the band, the other two guys, because, we started off being one for all for one, We're going to try to make it here. We're all hopeful to be, successful little rockers. And, but then I lost the ambition to become famous, I really did. And I lost the ambition to have my name tacked up on the roster of guitarists of the world. Because Jesus brought something to me that I never had before, and that was real life. And I began to sing about that in the simplest ways I knew how, like The Answer, and Can You See Me, Song of Hope, Songs in the Air, old songs like that, What a Day, songs like that. And then eventually it went into the making of my first solo album in 1973, and I just basically been making albums bearing my name and my musical signature all through these years. Been traveling and waking up and finding I'm traveling. On a day I didn't realize I was traveling. Traveling no matter what. And I know that there's a scripture that says, I know, Lord, it's not in a man to direct his own steps. Jeremiah 10:23. And that's sort of the start of my life. But with that has come responsibility to be faithful, to provide for my family, to love my family, my wife, my kids. And I do what I do out of love for them as well. And love for God, love for the gift. I want to be a good steward of that over all these years. Many opportunities to do a variety of albums that were basically in themselves journeys of exploration in this style and that style. Because I never had a down-pat, successful mode through which to continue my music. I never had a real... I was never what you would call in CCM this formula number one thing. With me, it's art. It's art. It's an extension of the gift of creation. God created me in His image. And God is the Creator, and all good things come from the Father of Lights. And that not everything I play is good and inspired, But I look for those moments, those cracks, those beams of light that come through, that say to me and to my soul, oh, this is good. And so I just keep at it until I can't do it any longer. And I love doing it, sharing it, being a blessing, bringing joy, bringing some hope and some cure, and pursuing the endless territory and expressions of the guitar. So that's what it's all been about for me.
There you have it. Well, there you
go.
I have just been in love with music for as long as I can remember. I started singing when I was 4. Listening to Harry Belafonte records that my mom and dad had.
Keep back the dipper.
That could be a song. There's a distinct correlation there. But and then I found myself, they had old Burl Ives records and things like that. These old, we're talking like 78s, big, like so heavy you thought perhaps it was a car park. You didn't know. Not that it was. Black and round, maybe it'll drive. I don't know. And then I also found myself just, in love with the guitar, and I started making guitar noises with my mouth, and this is maybe it was not only just because I loved it, but it was my subconscious way of trying to wear down my dad. Finally, buy me a stinking guitar, and I said, Dad, I just really want to. Could I maybe get one? He goes, you're too young and you won't practice. No, I really will. And so I said, well, son, I can tell you love this and you even dreaming about a career, but I mean, you gotta be practical, maybe you should play trumpet. That way you could get like on the Johnny Carson show with the band, or he's just trying to help out. And I said, but Dad, you can't sing and go at the same time. Even with multiple personalities, I don't think that's gonna happen. So finally, when I was 10 years old, he got me a Spanish nylon string guitar called a Goya, and I just loved it, and got through the first couple of months of just the nuts and bolts stuff, and started being able to experiment and kind of have some fun with it. Took classical guitar lessons from the time I was 10 to the time I was 13, and had enough of a natural ear that it actually worked against me, because I didn't have the discipline to really learn how to read this advancing, progressing sheet music, but I could memorize the stuff. And so my teacher said, you're one of my youngest students, but by golly, you're really the best. And I said, well, thank you, Mr. Grundy. Anyway, so at the end of the third year, he said, now, do you want to go on to like heavy, classical, or I'm sensing that that's not what you want to do, because at the end of the lessons, what he would do is he would just start playing, or he'd just say, pick out a chord pattern, and then he would start doing this chord solo stuff around it, and I was just in heaven. I just went, oh, this is it, this is so cool. And it was just like the last 5 minutes of the lesson, we would just jam together, and I would just go, this is great. So at the end of the 3 years, he said, I think you're creative enough that you need to just go experiment and try to develop more of your own style. Now let's review what you've learned. And that was an ugly moment. He just kept on flipping farther back in the book, and he realized, he goes, you don't know what an eighth note does? And he just went, go with God, but just go, actually. And so I got into, the Beatles hit, I guess, right around that time, and I just wanted to do what they did, and I wanted to be in their band. Yeah, I wanted to. And got into my own, garage bands, got to play, at my school and stuff. And so I was finding my sense of identity as well. So I took that and ran with it. I went, yeah, this is the deal. And when I was 17, I went to Los Angeles from San Jose, California. Just a young man with a guitar and a dream. Anyway, but so I left, and I was just going to go seek my fame and fortune, and I became a Christian the day I arrived in Los Angeles. It was like, I was not from I had no religious upbringing, so I approached the gospel with just very, I think in a fresh way, with open eyes and an open heart, just saying. And it was through other musicians in Los Angeles who were also Christians that I really heard the gospel, and I saw it applied in a practical sort of day-to-day way, So I would say, like, you're kidding, right? I rapidly realized that they weren't kidding. And I thought, well, these people are intelligent and talented and funny. I don't think they're crazy, and I don't think they're lying. So that means maybe this Jesus could this be? And then I came to that place where I realized I would never know unless if God being is a personal God, then I wasn't going to find out unless I was willing to meet Him in a personal way. So one of the more articulate spokesmen of contemporary Christian music, a man named Larry Norman, had actually invited me to Los Angeles, and I was living with him and working with him. He'd been praying before my arrival. He was saying, he's a wild boy from the 60s. I can't have him doing the stuff he normally does in my house. So Lord, but I know that you want him, and I want to help him, but he's got to become a Christian, and so that's your job. So so the day I arrived, I was actually in Larry's kitchen, and he just said things like, he just didn't know where to start. He felt, sort of ill-equipped, and like he just had to rely on God, which is wisdom. And he said, so, how you doing? And instead of that being just a kind of social nicety, it was all of a sudden this profound moment for me, and I said, I don't know, how's anyone doing? I mean, we're all just faking it, right? And I was away from home for the first time and trying to be a man and live my life, and take the bull by the horns, So I thought, well, I just got to look at the questions. And he said, yeah, so you want to pray about it? And I said, no. And the panic that crossed their face was just a classic photo. He's just like, his eyes glazed over like a chicken. He's kind of back in his prayer life going, now what? Now what? You with the big ideas, now what? And it was like the Lord said, ask him again. And so Larry said, man, you got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Because anything that God removes from your life, He does so that He can replace it with something far better. Primarily the gift of Himself. This is the real deal. This is what the essence of life is. Relationship with the one who made us. You want to pray now? And I said, I sure don't. And he just sort of got in my face and he went, you're not ready, huh? Sort of scary, you're out kind of being God yourself, huh? Wrong guy for the job, but okay, so you're not ready. Are you ready now? I said, leave me alone. And he went, are you ready now? And it was like the Spirit just convicted me. I thought, I'm running here. So either God is real or he's not. I'm going to find out in about 5 minutes. But the very fact that I would hear about a loving God and that would offend me showed me that I would, for the first time, that I was a sinner. And I went, oh no. It's like a man who's so sick he doesn't know how ill he is until he gets a little glimpse, And I went, oh, all right. And so we sat there at the kitchen table and prayed, and the roof just came in. It was like I had the textbook case, lightning bolt experience in the spirit, and then started writing about it, which is always what I had done, right from my heart, write about my worldview. And as God was changing me internally and changing my view of the world, I started, like I said, writing these songs, and he and I made my first little record called Born Twice for $800 that we scrounged from Pat Boone. Bless his heart, that guy. Anyway, and it was lo-fi, folks, I tell you, but it was earthy and it was passionate. And so the rest, as they say, is history, A few years later, at that time there was like a handful of people. Mr. Keaggy, a guy named Randy Matthews from the Midwest, a wonderful woman with a pretty voice named Annie Herring, who put together with her husband the second chapter of Acts, a band in Costa Mesa called Love Song. And so you could just count these people on the fingers of one hand, but it seemed like, for whatever season of time, God had brought this spiritual, musical, submarine crew, so to speak, together, and he was allowing us to lay the foundation for what has now become, a global billion-dollar, the downside is, I hear in your voice, it's become the biz. But, it has. It's become a big machine with both its good elements and, of course, the bad elements that come with something so big that you have to just keep feeding it money. But, so with that, I was going to say, as we're talking about musical and spiritual, development here, I wanted to play an early song, and which shows both style and also just kind of where I was in my life. And I thought, I'm not trying to run the joint here, but I thought maybe you want to do the same thing. Do you have one of those early ones that sort of captures your heart as a young believer?
I think so, right?
Can you fly home and then look in the door, call up the missus and, honey, sing it to me on the phone, I need it right now. Okay, what was I doing?
No, maybe get to that later when we talk about styles. That's a good one. Do you want to? Oh, but see.
It's such a treat for me. I'm going, I think it's very important that Mr. Keaggy joins me on this because it will demonstrate the contrasting styles. And it's just such a stinking rush for me. So,
Dance for me, monkey boy.
Well, this is the thing I want to do. This is a song. This became sort of one of the foundational ones of the genre. And one of the reasons is that I wrote this song driving in my little funky car that I got at Last Stop Auto Wreckers, a gray 59 Plymouth with the big space fins that look like a Batmobile. I'm driving down the Hollywood freeway from my little apartment in Silver Lake, and I'm going to the studio. And I'm just thinking, I just felt like God was just gluing my life together, and it was just so darned wonderful, because that's how he is. And I started writing this, singing it in the car, got to the studio, showed it to Larry, and he went, let's record that now. And this is, if you want, you can jump in.
Is your strap on good there?
I appreciate your attention to said strappage.
Is that a friend or what?
I want to see your...
He's worried. worrying about it. He wanted to make sure that my shoes were not double knotted because he knows how much trouble I have with that at the end of a long day.
So I'm going to do one and you can do it.
Okay, if you want.
Please do. Ooh, that just really doesn't sound good. Are you going to, should I tune this down or are you going to?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
Wrong song.
I could have wrote it. What was in tune in my mind? In my mind, I sounded like that guy. Oh, you should come to the concert in my mind.
You're there anyway, and you sound digging bang diggity.
Right there.
I don't even have to leave my house. Well, I can watch HBO while I do these. We can be together from now and forever. I love you. I love you. And when I'm praying, I hear him saying, I love you. I love you. People go, okay. Cool. So the reason... This is my song. I can pretty much do what I want. Thank you. Thank you. Big bully for Jesus. No, I was going to say, the interesting thing, too, is I wrote this little song. It went on my record. And then a guy that was working on one of the first Billy Graham sort of youth-directed films happened to know about me, and someone called me, and they ended up using this on a Billy Graham film that just went all around the planet, a thing called Time to Run. And then they used the song as a commercial on mainstream radio to advertise the film. So my manager's jumping up and down at this point. He's going, they're playing you every hour! And I was actually on the road in England going, darn, wrong country. But anyway, do I have timing or what? Oh, to be omnipresent now. But so this is how the song goes. Well, we can be together from now and forever. I love you. I love you. Yeah, when I'm praying, I hear it saying, I love you. I love you. People all over the world, they're opening up. They're coming around. Oh, they say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you. I love you, I love you. I love you. Brother and sister, Mrs. and Mr., I love you. I love you. You made me feel it. I can't conceive it. I love you. I love you. When Jesus came into the world to show us the way, to set us all free, and when he died, he was saying, I love you, 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 I love you. Sing with me, I need all the help I can get. Leave me on this. Love you, I love you, I love you. It was like falling downstairs. What am I going to do on a daily basis? I love you. 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 Yeah.
now and forever. I love you. I love you. Brother and sister, Mr. and Mister, I love you. 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 Someone cut that song today. It'd be a huge chartbuster. Everything. It's good, isn't it? Happy and catchy and good.
Yeah, well, it captures a youthful vision and just you know, a young faith that just knows that Jesus has come crashing into your life. So
That's right.
It's a simple, but
Yeah.
it's a simple sentiment. But it's
Good.
Yeah. Thank you. You're saying that the big machinery, the big billion-dollar biz would actually maybe embrace it, huh?
I think Jars and Clay should cut it.
Maybe be more of a sensitive, airy, kind of left-of-center version of it. You know?
Yes.
Where you only hear maybe like some of the lyrics.
I like them. I'm just teasing.
I did too. Their new album is great.
Yeah. I just, yeah, I got.
If I Left the Zoo, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Let's talk about them. What's that title mean?
I think it means that if you left the dysfunctional culture with the way it is,
That's good for me.
it doesn't come out so good. But you know, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
A high road. There you go.
Ah, there you go.
You know. So
I got that record of yours, by the way, back in the 71, Born It Twice.
you did?
Let me tell you, I know all the songs. Sometimes I come to that point in the song, and all of a sudden, I'm in the second grade again. It's amazing. How one little tune can trigger another.
Perhaps you just need a little Dramamine. Oh! Roller coaster in his hand.
It's your prerogative as an artisan of American. You just break into a medley. Anytime you, better than breaking into a rash. What's your pleasure, sir?
Well, maybe they have questions.
That's what I was thinking too.
And the bonding. Tearing up right now. As if surgically attached at the hip. Very pretty hip. Let's get a picture of that, Jim. The unrelated brothers. Here they
Twins?
Yes.
Since Randy co-wrote Love Broke Through and both of you recorded, could both of you guys do it together?
Sure.
Easy for you to say.
No, I'll go out. Give me an E again.
Let me see if this is right. Don't take that E.
You'd be sad.
darkness in the land.
Weren't you playing that song last night?
Key do you do? G or A?
I don't do it.
But if I had to, if I had a hankering, I'd go see a physician.
You'd hanker in the morning.
Did you have this surgically removed because the ointment isn't helping?
No, I'll do it again.
Okay.
So, okay, we'll just sort of see if we can...
Yeah, however way you want to.
All my hopes come tumbling down. I never knew just why, until the day when you pulled away the clouds that hung like curtains on my eyes. I've been blind for the wasted years. I thought I was so wise, then you took me by surprise. Waking up from the longest dream, how real it seemed, until your love broke through, and I was lost in a fantasy that blinded me, until your love broke through. All my life I've been searching for that crazy missing part. With one touch, you just rolled away the storm that held my heart. And now I see that the answer was as simple as just asking you in. I'm so sure I will never doubt that magic touch again is like the power of the wind. Oh, like waking up from the longest dream. How real it seemed, until your love broke through, and I was lost in a fantasy
song. I always play that concert, just about
Yeah.
every other concert.
Well, I'm honored that you do that. I'll never forget Keith Green calling me up in the middle of a busy day, just ranting on the phone. Randy, our friend Todd came by with his chorus melody. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. I've been working on the first melody, and then the Lord told me that you're the guy that's supposed to write the lyrics, and you just gotta come over right now. And I'm like holding the phone away from my ear, just going. I mean, this guy was like so passionate, almost like a man who sensed in his heart of hearts that he had very little time on earth. So he could just be inspiring, or he could be like a freight train that just gave you the major Excedrin headache. You know? And I actually lived a quarter mile away from him at that point, which at times still felt like dangerously too close. There's never really been anyone like him before or since, and here's the thing that I remember more than his musical brilliance and his real desire, the little boy part of him that really just wanted to be your friend, was this wondrous zeal, this rare zeal for Christ. When he became a Christian, because I dared him to go to this Bible study. So if you can't receive the gospel from me, because I'm obviously too much of a flake, go to, there's a lot of musicians that hang out at this Bible study. Just go check that out. And then I went on the road, and I came back home, and he'd become a believer. And so then you're just like in this fast, just like a rocket, you know. And but I just remember more than anything was this passion for relationship with Christ and just, you know, being what he was meant to be. And so anyway, I was holding the phone away, and he's going, "Come on, just get in your car, you just got to come over right now." And I'm just going, okay, Keith, we'll just forget about my world or my agenda, because now I'm entering into Keith's world, you know, which could be just a big old world. And he didn't even skip a beat. He just went, "Yeah, come over, see you soon." And I pulled into the driveway, and there's Mel with this bemused look on her face, holding the screen door open for me already, you know. And I can hear from the back of the house, the music room, I can hear him going, "La la la la, la 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 la, praise God." You know? And as I walked by her, she just looked at me and went like this. And she just said, "He's back there." And I felt like saying, "Okay, pray for me, I'm going in. If I'm not out in about 3 hours, call the SWAT team, man, I'm so scared." So I went in and I opened the door, and he's sitting at the piano with his eyes closed and his head back, and he's playing this melody, you know. And he looks and he sees me, and he spins around, he grabs a yellow legal pad, and he goes, "So, okay, go on." I said, "And how are you?" "No, thank you, I don't really need any coffee." "Well, my day has been..." I said, "What do you just, you know," and so on the one hand it was aggravating, and on the other hand it was just so endearing that he had such vision, and also he believed in me so much that he just went, "No, you're the guy, and you've got the chops, just go, you know." And so you just had to, sometimes you want to throttle him, but you had to love him, you know. I figured any friend of Mel's was a friend of mine, you know.
Yeah. And when I was out, Buck Herring produced my second album, Love Broke Through. And when I went out to California to record the album wasn't called that, of course, and that song wasn't even in the picture. So I was over there, we were just discussing songs, Buck and I, and Keith came by. And Keith had just written the song with you. I don't know what month it was, but this was May '76. And I can remember, I know dates. And I know a few gigs as well. But, so anyway, Keith plays a little upright piano that Annie had, and sang it. And of course, he's looking at you the whole time he's singing, and just looking at you, you know. And Buck says after, I just was loving it, you know. And Buck says, "Brother, you need to record that song." And he sounded a little like Nixon, I guess.
More attitudes there, I think.
Yeah. And,
That's another story.
And so the next day Keith comes over, and he's got me out the door with my guitar, my Les Paul, and a little, might have been my Princeton, I think, little Fender Princeton, out the door. And I remember this, Buck says to Keith, because Keith bounced in, his hair bounced with him. and Buck goes, "Where are you going with my artist?" And Buck was saying, "Where you going?" "Oh, I just got to put a couple demos down." So he took me right out, went to the studio. Love Broke Through was one of the songs, the 3 songs, Love Broke Through. And that's where that's where that came from.
Yeah.
So when I recorded the song, that it was just that idea, everything was so fresh. And although I do sound a bit like a girl, no offense, the girls, but
You're secure enough in your masculinity, Phil.
I think my voice has gotten a little bit more mature since 23 years ago. But
Back then it sounded more like McCartney and the sensitive side.
when he was 10. Back when Paul was 10.
It's prepubescent sensitive.
Well, I was listening probably a little bit too much to Annie Herring, but at the time. And I was living up at Lovin', which, there wasn't a whole lot of heavy rock and roll going on up there. But that was a great experience doing that song, and of course it gave the album its theme.
Right, yeah.
Then you recorded it and added a new voice, which is something special and peculiar to you.
Yeah, more like peculiar is probably the way to go with that. But the thing is too, in putting the song together, I ended up writing about 90% of the lyrics, not because I'm so talented or anything, but because Keith trapped me in his room. Because he really did. I mean, he sat down and I said, "Okay, so play me some of the melody again." He goes, "Okay, so I've been working on the first melody. You can help me a little bit on this. I think I know where this is going." And he would do that thing, like you said. He's always looking at you. He's so passionate, but he's also like this kind of little insecure kid wanting to see what your take is moment to moment. Just like felt like Keith, just take some cleansing breaths. It's fine. It's fine. God loves you. You're great. I love you. It's just calm down. So he's looking at me, So I said, "Okay, how about this? Like a dreamer who's trying to build a highway to the sky." And he went, "Yes! Praise God, I knew you were the guy." And so 3 hours later I said, "Can I just use the restroom?" And I need to go. I have a house too where I live. And I go home now. And he went, "Oh, well, okay. But if you get any more lyrics like on the way home, then call me right away." And I went, "Okay, Keith, I will."
Some of the greatest songwriters have gone too soon, haven't they?
Yeah.
What's that say about our songwriting?
Yeah, God just lets us loiter, huh? So we feel sorry for us. Well, maybe sometime they'll get it together.
Did you know Rich very well? Well, you did.
No, I didn't know him well. But
I know him some myself. Not real well, but some.
But yeah, what a rare man, both spiritually and
Mark heard that you were very close to Mark because he produced 1 or 2 of your albums, didn't he?
Yeah, he produced 2, he engineered 4 of them. I don't know, for those of you who are not terribly familiar with Mark Hurd's work, just go find it. This man, in my estimation, stands as probably one of the top 50 greatest and most important songwriters of our time. And he died tragically in 1992 at the age of 40 from a heart attack. But when people like that leave, you can't wish them back because they're in a far better place. And I think it really just calls us to look in the mirror and to kind of step up to the task, so to speak, and go, okay, these guys are real salt and light, in their lives and in their work. And so we try our best, to fill that void at least a little bit and be inspired by the legacy that they left. I listen to stuff, Rich Mullins stuff, and you know, it's interesting. I mean, I listen to it and just go, not only was this guy just so gifted, but you could tell that he really kept on trying to abandon his heart to Christ, and that galvanized his work, you know. And I asked him to co-write In Jesus' Name with me, which appeared on the Lazarus Heart record as a duet with Michael W. Smith. And Rich had been at a little club in Nashville and actually he's had such a servant's heart. He actually ran sound. He sat down in front and kind of tweaked the knobs for me as I was playing. And you know, I told him how much his work meant to me, and he said, "Man, I really like your writing." And so I invited him to be a part of that song. And he said, "You know what? I'm going to the res near Gallup, New Mexico. I'm working with the Native American children. I know you have a deadline. I'm not even going to have a tape player. I can't. I'd like to do this, but I just can't now." And then his manager said to me later, "Look, he really likes you, and so don't think he's blowing you off. Just the next project or next song idea, get a hold of him." And I was hoping that he would have been able to play hammer dulcimer and do some singing on Thirst, my latest project, but it was not to be. So, yeah, Reggie.
I was just say, you guys shared about the beginning, and I was wondering if we could just capsulize what you're doing now and share a song that's a recent one.
You could do that. Okay,
This is a brand new one. Alright, so new, I'm not even sure I know it. This is called Prisoner of Hope. I'm slow to learn, I'm slow to change. I find this roller coaster life both beautiful and strange. I try my best to sort things out, but at times I'm sort of clueless as to what this thing's about. And I've been wrong, and I've been used, but in light of the big picture, I'm still peaceful and bemused. Prisoner of hope tonight, prisoner of hope tonight, with a reason to be grateful. A prisoner of hope tonight, prisoner of hope tonight, with a reason to be faithful. Bound for all eternity by this three-chord rope. Father, Son, and Spirit, I'm a prisoner of hope. I'm slow to judge, I'm slow to fight. I've confessed that my own track record is far from lily white. And sometimes I'm scared, sometimes I doubt. Sometimes I make such a mess, I'm sure there's no way out. And I have failed, and I have cried, but I've found at times it's healthy when you dine on humble pie. Prisoner of hope tonight, prisoner of hope tonight, with a reason to be grateful. was it? Captured by this love I don't deserve or understand. Caught within the grip of these awesome holy hands. You may say that this is just the dream of desperate men. But far from desperate dreaming, I am waking up again. Prisoner of hope tonight. Reason to be grateful. A prisoner of hope tonight. Prisoner of hope tonight. With a reason to be faithful. Bound for all eternity by this three-chord road. Father, Son, and Spirit, I'm a prisoner of hope.
I've finished a little new vocal album at home, and it's something I'm quite happy with, and but it's going through deliberations with the record company whether or not it's commercial enough at this present time. It's artistic enough for me, and it's also an expression of a lot of important words and lyrics, but really, for the most part, over the last 2 years, I've made a lot of instrumental albums, a Christmas album, a series called Music to Paint By, which are 4 CDs, and a Spanish album called A Touch of Spain, which will be semi-released next spring. Semi-released means you could probably get it to the fan club quicker than you can find it in the store. But nonetheless, it's music that has been created and music that means a lot to me. And so this is a piece I'd like to play for you. It's instrumental, called Shades of Green, from an album called Splash, which is one of the Paint By albums. And so what I do is I just use a capo, the 5th fret, and I keep the E string open, the low string, tune the E string down to D, so you have it, and I put the second capo on that's got a couple notches, and I only put it on, actually, for like Nellie's tune, I put it across the whole fretboard. But on this particular one, I just go to the D string with the open B string. So anyway, this is how this goes.
demonstration on using the Evo with the acoustic guitar? Because I know I've seen you use it with the electric, but
Yeah, if it had the, I used to have a Seymour Duncan.
Right.
What was it? Is that what it was?
you got a sound hole.
Yeah, I had a sound hole pickup, and it worked better on that. It doesn't. Yeah, Sunrise. That's what it was. It's at home someplace. I got the bags to it just because
Right.
it's simpler than the Canon cable I used to have in my guitar. Now it's just a mono jack, and it works okay for me. And but the Evo works better if there's an electric pickup, but because there's not a lot of level.
Right.
It works better. If you had an electric pickup or an electric guitar, can I borrow that electric guitar over there?
Sure.
And I'll show you, it'll give you a better demonstration as to what the Evo, which I've been using Evos since 1977.
Is that the new Evo?
This is the new one, I like the old one. The old one's great. But this one's got two different tone settings. I'll demonstrate them for you. Thank you, Randy.
My pleasure. And you're trying to juggle these right now.
I got a good picture. I got a good picture of the back of your car.
So you already signed that, so you can be familiar.
Like
it was yesterday.
Oh, good. You got Scott and Lois. Oh, okay. Hold on.
Oh, my sinuses are killing me.
This belongs to Peter Townsend. I might have gone too far with it, huh?
Picks up in the string, sir.
To what you...
Randy, you need to send that later.
I'll make my X's as pretty as I can.
Well, there's a pickup.
This is a demonstration of the Evo as per request.
You gotta pick.
You plan that.
So if I put it up here, it's a nice little demonstration. It's not wired like a Les Paul, is it?
So it was 1974, sitting in my apartment in North Hollywood, and I sat down one afternoon to try to write a tender love song to impress a girl that I was fairly serious about. And as I approached the song, it seemed to take on a mind of its own and started, kept steering me in another direction. And I couldn't quite figure out what was happening. And as I sat back, I realized, at least it felt like, God was sort of whispering to my heart, if you will, and saying, if you want to write about love, why don't you, start with first things first and write about the author of love. And So that's what I did, and that song, I don't know how this works, you know, so don't ask. But that's one of those songs that is sort of a touchstone song for me, and kind of a signature song for me.
Maybe I can get Mr. Keaggy to join me on this particular one, but all right, it's just sweet.
Why's my tuner doing this to me? You know?
Maybe the
Sometimes
batteries.
the lights just dance, you know? Feels like.
There, try it now then. Can dance.
How'd you do that?
I just shook it.
Can you tell us about your guitars?
Yeah. This is a Loudon. George Loudon in Belfast, Northern Ireland, started making guitars, I guess, 25 years ago? You know a little bit about him, right?
Yeah, I've seen his place.
Oh, have you? You've gone there?
Mm-hmm.
And is that story true? Do you know that he was a youth pastor?
Well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he always had this vision, this dream about making guitars. He really didn't know much about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he designed, I guess, one of his first guitars and maybe sent it to somebody in America or something. And as I recall the story, they came back saying, how did you come up with this incredible revolutionary internal bracing system? No one has ever thought of that. And he just sort of smiled and went, and so his company has grown slowly but surely over the years, and they were kind enough to come to me a few years ago and say, look, you've been around for many moons and you have a distinct style, which we refer to as, what? What do you do? How do you do that, Randy? What? Anyway, and they said, you know, you have a fairly substantial following, and would you like to play one of these guitars? And since American Airlines, who shall remain nameless, just shoved a forklift fork through my vintage Martin. It's better now, but anyway, I retired it from the road, so I thought, you know, this is a God thing. And I said, well, I'm flattered that you'd ask. And I said, well, if you want to play one, the deal is, I mean, people, they're going to see you night after night, and they're going to want to know what kind of guitar it is, and, you know, they'll come to us. It's like a win-win sort of a deal. And I went, yeah, okay, you want to twist my arm? All right! So that's how I got this. But he's custom-made guitars for everybody from Ricky Skaggs to Bono to B.B. King to Michael Card.
Yeah, and John Renborn. This guitar was built for me by James Olson up in St. Paul, Minnesota in 1984. And I endorse two guitar makers acoustic-wise. That's Del Lanyon and James Olson.
Well, they found out about it.
Well,
it's going to be a cat fight.
It was a bit tough when I was starting to take out an R6 Dreadnought cutaway acoustic by Del Lanyon that he gave to me. It really kind of disappointed Jim. But God uses disappointments in our lives to I mean, I've had my share of them, and God used it, and actually those guys are both on the same team. They're just different guitar makers. And James approached me about making me a guitar in 1983. He made me a prototype, and then I asked him if he would build a cedar top like my old Whitebook, Mark Whitebook guitar I had for about 16 years, since 1971. And he said, no, I've never made a cedar top. It's kind of tender, fragile wood. I said, could you just do it? Because I like the sound of a cedar top. He made it. This guitar has had a couple slight cracks, only slight. And he's repaired them as if you can never see them. And I've used this guitar for the most part. This guitar I've used the most in my life for the last 15 years. I love the Del Lanyon's guitars too because they have a different sound and character. And I use both James and Del's guitars on my recordings, acoustic sketches. Beyond Nature is all Olson guitars. On the Fly is all Lanyon's guitars, and except for I borrowed a Paul McGill resonator guitar. This guitar has become a real part of me, and I feel so comfortable with it. It's hard to explain it. Del has recently made a new small cutaway that needs the same pickup system this has in it, so that I can take them both and alternate them on the road. I carry this guitar in a Colton case, which is a green guitar case. It's somewhere. It's up in the room. It's really endured a lot on the road. A good guitar case is important if you travel, as Randy can attest. And so, you're fine.
I'm trying to be a player. With the airline. Steam my bacon.
Anyway, great guitars. Be careful you don't endorse too many at once, though. It gets to be really sticky.
Do either one of you endorse the acoustic amplifier?
Well, I ended up somehow endorsing crate amplifiers.
I endorse Silvertone and PB.
Strangest thing, you know. They've given me 3 amps, and I kept one of them. I like the little 112 tube amp crate makes. But nothing can top the old 60s Vox amp I own. It's the best sounding amp I've ever heard. I also got an old Fender Deluxe Reverb that I love the sound of. Between the Vox, the Deluxe, and this crate amp, I've got the amps covered. I haven't, Gibson made me an electric guitar. Parker Fly has given me a couple Parker Fly guitars. Zion has given me, well, I bought that one. They put a lot in my hands, but the old white Zion I have with the 2 humbucking pickups is the one I always liked the best, and so I just kept that one, and I bought that one from, but you gotta be careful with I decided I'm not going to take any more guitars as gifts. Perhaps you say, well, just send them on to me, Phil. Yeah, I know, because you work so hard, your hard-earned money to buy an instrument that you love. I went into debt years ago when I was your age, so for instruments, and so it's nice at my age to have one say, hey, if you play this, if you like it, play it. And the thing was, I ended up liking many guitars. And so I was sure, I like the way this plays. Yeah, hang on to it. I record with it. And then when they find out you're on the road with the Gibson, they're a little disappointed. And if you're on the road with a Parker Fly and it's not a Zion, they're a little disappointed. So you got to be careful about receiving gifts and as instruments. And we're all brothers. I might say that James Olson is a Christian brother, as George Loudon is. Del Lanyon is a Christian brother. And also there are other guitarist makers like Kevin Ryan and, if I'm not mistaken, this Collins is a brother. Amazing luthiers. Ken Hoover at Zion. Great people. Great people. God bless them all. Yes, thanks. I've said more than enough about that. Sorry.
He's nothing in time for me.
You want to do this song?
Yeah.
Do the song and all.
Yeah, then we'll do Monkey Bastards.
It's not hard to understand why we need a father's hand.
There's a rainbow somewhere. You were born to be there. You're just running in circles. Till you reach out your hand to the King of pain and fear. That's the load. There's just no need to carry. Let it go. Leave it here. There's no price that's left to pay. With one more mile or one more day. There's a rainbow somewhere. You were born to be there. You're just running in circles. Oh, do you reach out your hand to the King of You can try to catch the wind, but in the end you'll just be wasting precious time. Life can really be so kind once you find the truth and follow. It's a booby prize. Hey! You rock my planet, mister.
Tonight.
Yeah, tonight.
Great. Okay. Yeah. I have a question. Both of you do a lot of finger picking. How do you keep your nails, or are they fake nails?
Yeah, they just call me Nubs now. Just play a little ukulele. We're going into the cloud.
We're all guitarists here. What's with the nails?
Yeah. I was having too much fun by myself there for a minute. Patience is a virtue, but I obviously taxed that. Yeah, you know what? For me, I used to come off the stage with blood on the guitar, because I'm playing medium gauge steel strings in my own kind of dysfunctional Stephen Stills as a nightmare kind of a way, and I was just hurting myself, and so I thought this is a little more like Iggy Pop than I ever really wanted to be. So I went to I was talking to various people, and they said, "Oh, try super glue, try this, try that," and somebody said, "You know, you could go to a manicurist. They actually they have this powder and this catalyst. They mix it together like it's a buttery thing. They put it on and shape it for women's nails. Why don't you just go get get those three done and have them do it like double thickness, and just don't tell anyone." The weird thing was when I got one of those home do-it-yourself kits, and I'd be on an airplane between shows. I'd be sitting with some surly businessman trying to drink his coffee, and this stuff smells bad anyway. So I'm sitting there just doing my nails, looking at it, kind of my long hair and stuff, and I had to talk in a really low voice. He goes, "Hey, what about them Dodgers, huh?" I'm a guitar player, pretty much. That's one pretty looking stewardess, huh? I actually was in England one day, New Zealand. I was desperate before the show because my fingers were all torn up, and I was looking for a manicurist who would help me. And the one shop that was open just wouldn't let me in. They said, "No, we don't deal with male customers," and they're kind of looking at me like, "You dysfunctional." I'm a guitar player. See, I don't even want both hands. Just these three nails.
Well, because of Randy, I decided to go that route. That's true, because I played guitar for 7 years, since I really got into acoustic back in 1973, started growing nails out and breaking them, and then get the little bits of corner of a dollar bill, and super glue it, trying to patch up nails. Yeah. And I've discovered ever since that, I just do the thumb, this one and that one. And there's a little Vietnamese lady at the Silky Nails place there in Nashville. And I explained as well, hello, like the receptionist as you walk in, and I go, I'm a guitarist, and I have guitar playing fingernails, and I need to have them. And so I do about once a month. They expect me, so, and I give her a CD every time I do it, aside from the tip, and because to me it's the best money spent. I mean, they don't realize it, like $10 for my three, and of course I get a discount because I don't need that. And I mentioned that too, so yeah, don't worry about that one. I mean, most of you are guitar players here, except for those of you who just brought an empty case. But it's important. I mean, Christopher Parkening, I remember meeting Christopher. He had the same thing. I think first time I ever saw it was on Carlos Montoya, flamenco guitarist from Spain or North Carolina, and he did it. That was back in the 70s, and never took it serious until I saw Randy and how much success he had with it. So I have you to thank for that aspect of my manicure life. And it's important because, the day before I left it yesterday, I had to have it taken care of, and I hadn't practiced my guitar the longest time, 10 days or so. and you know, the nails went south, and so then you have to get used to it. You never notice it. You gotta work it in a little bit. Get it just right, the right length.
Yeah, you gotta file and mess it.
You guys need to cut it off, but you guys do like one more song together. We would love that and keep going, but we need a couple more songs.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, I love to play. I don't like talk. I never talk about my nails.
Either a Paul McCartney tune or Sunday's Child.
You want to do Sunday's Child?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I don't remember it. Who cares? You don't, do you? We don't remember it?
Well, I was hoping we'd practice before Tulsa. We're together on Tuesday.
All right. Let's practice here.
Maybe practice in front of you. Yeah! Because I was in my kind of thinking in my head, how's this going?
I don't want to let down my friend Phil, you know.
Let's see.
Well, count.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sunday's child.
Randy thing.
That was you. You go down and I'll stay up. Mondays.
Huh?
Mondays.
Mondays.
There you go. Monday's child was feeling blue.
It doesn't feel right, does it?
No.
That's me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Monday's child was feeling blue. Tuesday's child who noticed you. Wednesday's child is full of woe. Thursday's child is dressed up with no place to go. And we always do that, do we?
This is rehearsal,
If you
folks.
don't,
It's almost over. Just be strong.
if you went.
Throw me a curveball. Okay, so it's that's less painful.
That's good. I like
Yeah.
that. Less painful that way.
Okay. Wednesday's child is full of woe. Thursday's child is dressed up with no place to go. Friday's child is Saturday. No rose in his mouth. Sunday's time. Oh yeah. Sunday's time. Okay, I'll cover you. It's like the baseball guys running for the fly ball. Look at it.
Sunday's time. Oh yeah. Something happened to my sound. What happened to my sound?
You gotta see a doctor about that inner ear infection.